So do we have an intro?
No, we haven't thought this through. Okay. Hi,
This is Spinsters Library.
I'm Charlie and this is Claudia.
Who
We
knows?
talk about books.
Yeah. It's Halloween.
Halloween is very soon,
Yeah.
so we thought we'd talk about some spooky books.
Yeah, the problem is we both don't read spooky books.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to be very helpful here.
I've got some books. So let's just get into those. I'm going to start with my favourite spooky book, probably Jane Eyre
Oh, good plan.
by
Charlotte Bronte.
I knew that. I made the mistake of reading that late at night, the first time I read it, and I was seriously terrified. I'm not going to spoiler you. You already know what, like, the
know
creepy stuff that
everything.
goes on in there. But it is seriously creepy. From the beginning with, like, the red room and then, you know, all the creepy things that happen in the house later. It's just, it has a really dark atmosphere, the book. When I picked it up, I didn't know much about it. And I thought it would be, like, a romance type thing.
Sort of like an Emma thing.
That, yeah,
right?
like a light-hearted 19th century romance. It's really not. It's terrifying.
Charlotte Bronte is not Jane Austen.
No, it's really, really scary. At least I thought so, because I was reading it late at night. But I really like it. What do you think of
Yeah, it's...
Jane Eyre?
I think it's a very good book. I really enjoyed it when I first read it, and I really enjoyed it when I second read it and third read it. I have some feminist issues with it, with
That's a whole other video.
with Rochester's treatment of Jane, and this sort of idea that Rochester is the perfect guy.
But is he? See, I would argue that that's not the idea of the book. He's not portrayed as the perfect guy.
I think a lot of modern media has taken it as he's this sort of Mr. Darcy figure.
Yeah.
But
Who is perfect?
he's kind of...
Shut up, he's Colin
Okay,
Firth.
yes, I'm also a fan of Colin Firth, but he's not perfect, is he? He's horrendously rude to her.
But he's really hot, though. Okay, feminist.
Anyway, so should we talk about your next creepy
Yeah.
book?
My next creepy book. So this was actually a gift to me, because I probably wouldn't have bought this
Yeah.
just by myself. It's Slade House by David Mitchell.
I read Cloud Atlas. It was really
have?
good.
So apparently, I have not read Cloud Atlas, but apparently this is set in the same universe.
Oh, is it?
There's some weird stuff that goes on at the end that I
Yeah.
didn't understand until I looked it up. And again, I'm not going to spoil you because I
Don't
think
do
you
it,
should read
'cause I'll
this.
read
If
that.
you enjoyed Cloud Atlas, it's much shorter. It's a very
Yes.
easy read. It's very gripping and it's quite creepy. It's like a haunted house type story. You know, there's this house, people go to it and disappear over several decades. And it just tells the stories of these people who go there and disappear and what happens. And obviously it's got a supernatural element to it. It is just very gripping and very well written. My third recommendation is a little bit offbeat. I haven't done any research on this. It's a German book, Der Struwwelpeter, by Heinrich Hoffmann. And this was written sometime in the 19th century as an educational book for children. It's all in verse and it's illustrated. The illustrations are also original. It's about bad things children do and how they're going to pay for it. So, for example, this boy doesn't listen to his parents. So he just walks around, bothers the dog, and then gets his leg bitten off.
Lovely.
Yeah, there's like, you know, some really nice things happening to people. And
Oh, there's a girl on fire.
yeah, there's a girl on fire. So she was playing around with the matches. There you can see her playing around with the matches. And there she is on fire.
Wonderful.
Yeah, reduced to a pile of ash, and the cats cry about her.
The moral of this story is don't make your cats cry.
The fun thing is that this was, I don't know if Germans still read this to their children, but this was very much read to me when I was a child. This was in my nursery library, and I looked at that, I looked at all the pictures, I read the verses, and I didn't think anything of it.
This is why there are so many stereotypes about German people.
I know, there's nothing to dispel. I think it has been translated into English. I'm going to try and put a link in the description box so you can all buy this for Halloween and read it to your children and make them behave.
Yes. Scare your children into submission.
Have you got any creepy recommendations that you can think of?
Most of my creepy books are dystopias, and we're going to be doing a separate
We
video
will do,
about that.
yeah.
Just a quick shout out to Brave New World, which is by Aldous Huxley. Brave New World is one of the most terrifying dystopias I have ever read. I read this when I was 16. I got about a half of the way through, and it was about like 8 o'clock at night, and then my mum came in because she heard me shouting about this book, and she took this book away from me and said that I had to go and do something else for a couple of hours before I slept, or otherwise I wouldn't sleep tonight.
And that is the difference between British and German parents. Okay, so is it a good book? Do you think I should read it?
Yes, definitely. It's one of my favourites, actually. It's not easy to get into, but once you're in, you sort of sucked in, and then you have to read the whole thing. The premise is basically that everyone is really happy to be doing what they're doing. They're so happy that they take drugs to keep themselves happy. There's this one character then who is found who has never been part of this society before. They were part of a society that sort of had our rules rather than the Brave New World society.
Okay, so it's like an outsider.
Yeah. It's about this outsider learning and interacting with the people who are part of this world. It's basically horrifying and makes you question everything. The whole way through, all I could think of was, I can't think of a reason other than my own morals that have been taught to me by society that we shouldn't live this way. And that's what's creepy about it.
Because in a lot of dystopian fiction, you're like, this is clearly wrong.
Yeah. So it's not really about like civil liberties so much as personal choice and the idea of happiness. So yes, I'd say read that if you want to be miserable for the rest of your lives. Okay, thank you for reading.
Watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.